I went from rich to wealthy in an instant. I guess about 2 years ago, a friend and client was visiting my wife and I at our house on the beach in Panama. And we live in a beautiful little home, 1 bedroom, 1 bath, all we need for her and I and the 2 dogs. And this client, this friend, she said, "Wow, Aaron, you've got such a beautiful home." Now, this is a woman that I had met a year or so before in a party at her mansion overlooking the Pacific Ocean. You know, the infinity pool with waiters and live music. And I turned to her and I said, "Oh, wow, well, this is nothing compared to your house." And she got kind of serious looking, and she looked at me and she said, "Aaron, don't be mistaken. I've got 4 houses, but I don't have a single home." And when she said that, it struck a really deep chord in me, because it really helped me to understand the fundamental difference between being rich and being wealthy. So if you look it up on internet, what you're going to find is that, most sources are going to say that, being rich means using your economic resources to buy material things or things that bring status. And the accumulation of those things is how you measure how rich you are. And that's exactly, a phase in my life that I went through. When I was in my 30s, I had 4 houses, 2 houses on the ski slopes and a house on the beach and a house outside of town and the fancy car and all of those things. And I really measured my life by that. And it was really, getting all these things that society told me I should have, really so I could show them to society. And as I went through life and, made my journey through life, I started discovering that none of that means anything if you're not happy. None of that means anything if you don't have joy. None of that means anything if you don't have good, strong, healthy relationships. None of that means anything if you don't have someone who loves you by your side to enjoy this time with. And so, when she said this, I realized, I looked around and I looked at my home and I looked at my partner and I looked at where I was and I was like, yeah, she's right. I have a home and I am wealthy. I am wealthy because wealth is defined as using your finances and your resources to provide yourself with time and financial freedom and quality of life. And I look at where I am today compared to where I was 10 or 15 years ago, and there's no comparison. I'm one of the wealthiest people I know. I have all the time in the world. I have all the time in the world. I go surfing when I want to go surfing. I go to yoga. I meditate. I take walks on the beach. I play with my dogs. I can go away when I want to. I have all of the time in the world. And I have freedom. I'm in a relationship where I don't question my wife and she doesn't question me. We trust each other. We know that we're taking our best decision for what we need in that moment. And we take the other person into consideration in those decisions. And yet I also realize that I have now the financial freedom to live the life that I desire. Not because I've got millions of dollars in the bank. That doesn't mean financial freedom. That could be financial slavery. Here in Panama, I've met billionaires who were miserable because they're trapped with all of their money and possessions. No, I have financial freedom now because I have all the money that I need today. And I know that tomorrow the universe is going to provide for me everything I need. So the drop-in for today is I want you to sit down, I want you to look at your life, and I want you to make 2 lists. I want you to make a list of everywhere where you consider yourself to be rich in possessions, and then I want you to write down everything where you consider yourself to be truly wealthy. See if those things line up. Where they line up, fantastic. But where they don't line up, ask yourself, what do I need to change so that I feel wealthy in this area? Now go. Live your life. Live it with passion and compassion. I'm the Wisdom Surfer. dropping in on life.